Parastatal Eskom has announced that it will start offering voluntary retrenchment packages. These will be open to managers in its non-core operations and employees over the age of 60. Now, the process will be implemented between March and April this year. For more on this story, we're joined now via Skype by Sikonati Manjanja. He is Eskom's spokesperson. Mr. Manjanja, good morning to you. So, which non-core operations are these that the managers are being offered severance packages?
So, good morning, Kole. The core business of Eskom is to generate and transmit and distribute electricity. So anybody else in other departments would be deemed non-core, but they have not been identified and say in that department and in that department you are eligible to. We have not identified those.
A particular figure that you're working with, in other words, the number of these managers that you expect could possibly take these packages?
We are not working with any number of people in mind. However, there is a price that is attached to this. The facility is 400 million rands. It has been offered to managers and senior managers indeed. If 400 million rands gets used up, that's the process done.
It sounds as though you are working with something here that you may have either tested, wind off. Are there people who are indeed happy to take some of these severance packages?
This program or this process has just commenced. So it's totally voluntary. That's the first thing we must acknowledge. Nobody whatsoever will lose their jobs if they did not apply. So anyone who applies and raises their hand and say, I would like to accept this package and go, then the management will still have the final discretion whether to accept or reject that application. So nobody has any reason at this point to be unhappy about this process. It's completely voluntary, and nobody will be encouraged to apply. And of course, as you do know, the government has, which is the shareholder, the government has already on numerous occasions said there will be no forced job losses at Eskom. So nobody has any reason to worry whatsoever.
You've made the point as well in your statement that this process does not affect workers below the management structures. But cynics out there are going to say you are testing the ground because if you are going to have managers taking packages, at some point that is going to actually filter down.
This process is being run in order to get to a point where Eskom can be an efficiently run company. And of course, the management has identified opportunities and savings that could be had in the top structures of the organization. The point to repeat here again is that there will be no forced job losses. Even if in the future, and I'm not aware of those plans, even if in the future we could say, well, the 400 rand has not been used up, does anyone else wish to take advantage of this opportunity? Even if we get to that point, I repeat again, there's no plan to do so. But even if we do, nobody will be forced to lose their jobs. The shareholder has repeated this on numerous occasions. The management of Eskom, the board of Eskom has repeated this on numerous occasions. There will be no forced job losses.
Mr. Manjanja, the reality is that Eskom is bloated, and the finance minister, Tito Mboweni, is on record saying that at some point you are going to have to be forced to do this. Are you postponing the inevitable?
In any company, the shareholder has the final say. The management is there to implement the vision and the desires of the shareholder. And in this instance, the shareholder is the government of the Republic of South Africa, and the shareholder in this instance has said there will be no forced job losses at Eskom. Management has to work with the shareholder, and that is exactly what we are doing. Totally aligned with the shareholder vision, there will be no job losses.
Finally, and very briefly, Mr. Mantshantsha, have you had a word with the unions around this process, the one that affects specifically the managers? And by the way, are any of them represented by any of the labour unions?
This process is above the bargaining forums. It's above where unions don't organize in these management levels, so they are not affected directly by this. Of course, there may very well be a member or a few that belong to a trade union. I do not know if anyone is excluded from joining a union. But as is, this is not the bargaining part of the bargaining units. So at Eskom, there are those bands where if you are at a certain level, you belong into the bargaining unit. So we have not about this specific process had conversations with the trade unions because they are not affected. And let's repeat this again. This is a completely voluntary process.
Mr. Mantshantsha, thank you very much for your time. He is Eskom's spokesperson.